Welcome to the flowerschool.com video library. I'm Leanne Kessler, Director of the Floral Design Institute, and today I'm here to share with you our cozy spring garden. Here in Portland, the winter days are cold, they're gray, they're usually wet, and so the bright colors of my logo translated into flowers makes me smile. To create these gardens, you need just a few basic supplies. For the upper frame, pussy willow and bind wire to secure it. For the interior, you'll want soil, rocks, and then your favorite plants. For the trim, I'm using the fabulous buttons from the Oasis Company and an old sweater that I'm willing to cut up and sacrifice. For my container, a vivid orange cube, ceramic, watertight, no drainage. So to solve that problem, I put a layer of rocks in the bottom. That's where all the gravel went, filling it in the bottom. Then add a little bit of soil. Then opening each of the plants up. And by opening them, I mean take them out of the pot and massage them a little bit to loosen up the root system, giving them a little breathing room, opening, letting some of that soil fall off, and then setting it down into the pot, going back, adding another. The kale was such a vivid purple, absolutely glorious. Again, massaging the roots, removing some soil. Not all the soil will fit in the pot, so I want to get rid of extra, but without damaging the roots, just softly massaging them, loosening them up so that they'll continue to grow and be happy. Then setting that down in. The last plant, a perky primrose, the first bloomer of the springtime. I can remember every year gathering these around January and bringing them in to brighten my desk. And setting that in, tucking it inside. Then, using your leftover soil that you set aside here, go back, pack it in, make sure it's completely full, and fill in every little gap. You don't want air pockets in there where the roots won't live. Now the pussy willow to add height and drama. So I take individual stalks, determine how long I want it, give it a cut, and then place it just directly down into the soil. And repeat. They don't have to be the exact same height. Looking for branches that are relatively straight. Again, they don't have to be perfectly straight, but it's kind of nice so that they're not too slanted and angled. Another. Judging again. Bringing it around to complete the box in the front side. Now to do the arms, connecting the armature, judging about how long I want it. And then cutting right at a pussy willow piece so that it will give it a pretty end even if a cut is there. And then a second one. That one I can actually get 3 off of the same branch, then going back with another, guesstimating the length, giving it a cut. And that one I may not use again. Then taking these, the easiest way to take a bit of bind wire, pre-cut it so that you're ready to go. It's just 3 inches or so. Setting that aside, and then using a glue dot, a dash from the Oasis Company, and placing it on the branch where you're going to want the cross, peeling off the tab, and repeating that, maybe right about here. And once again, peeling off the tab. Then taking the branch and just setting it right onto that tab Now that holds it in place so that you can go ahead to the next one. It's not strong enough to secure it to stay forever, but while you go back, add yet another. If I can get it to undo from the tab, that's always the challenge. There we go. And then taking another branch, and you can even use the same glue dot on this side, and then over to this one, securing it in place. Then as that holds it, you can take your bind wire and lash it together. Now that will hold it securely so it doesn't come undone. Going back to the other side, lash it, and then continue on around with branches and bind wire. For stability, I like to take 2 more branches and add them as crossbars, just to make sure. And this is where you can use a crooked one that maybe isn't as straight as you wanted it to be before. Again, just add in the dot, peel it back off. And then since I'm going to be using 2 pieces there, take one and then the other. And then I can take my bind wire and lash those 2 in place. And then that will stay put. Well, I take 2 more pieces of bind wire, one on this side to lash here. Don't even need a dot at this stage because that's going to hold it in place. And then again, right over here. And if you love the pussy willow, you can create more little connections, crossing all different directions. But for now, this is enough to be stable. Now comes the fun part, creating the cozy. For a tall, slender vase, you can actually just cut a piece from the sleeve and then slide it on. For the larger, you cut from the bottom, taking out a strip so that you've got more to work with. So I'm going to set this aside so we've got a little bit of room here. Oh, just love them. This one, got a strip now. For that, using the U-glue strips to secure it in place. And I use 3 strips. The first one, I just place against the back of the container and then pull it back off. That's going to be where the cozy begins. And I put it with the cut edge up, which I tuck back under, determining where I want it to be, and then just pressing it right into place. Cut edge will roll under like so, and then continue to wrap around. Then when I want to secure it at the other end, coming around, 2 more strips. And these 2 actually overlap. So it goes against the fabric and against the vessel. Repeat that. And that's what will secure it all together when we're completely finished. Half onto the fabric, half onto the vessel. Then I bring this around, folding it under evenly. I can adjust a little bit later, but I try to get it as close as possible. Bringing it. Then you can see as I pull, it pulls that end, comes on around, and secures against the tabs. Adding the buttons takes a little bit of patience. You want to unwind them from the roll before you begin, and you'll discover that sometimes they get stuck, and you just got to kind of wiggle and wiggle and wiggle until you get them to all unwind. And I like to pull off quite a bit and then cut them from the roll like this, because that way I don't have to wrestle with the roll at this point. Then bringing that and just wrapping it around the container, round to the opposite side, and then twisting Then bringing it back around on itself again. And you can turn them so that they face the right direction. And then when you reach the end, twisting again. Let me double check. Pull it down so it'll show. Then taking another string and repeating, determining where you want to start. Maybe I want a larger button right here. So you want to adjust how you place your buttons. So twisting around. And then wrapping. Bring it all the way back around again. Overlapping. And then once again wrapping it on itself. Then as I work, I look for the loose little wires and tuck them under so they're not going to show, and adjust the buttons so that they work perfectly with each other. For a last little bit of fun, I love to add cut flowers to my dish gardens and planters. So here, you can see I've tucked in just a few ranunculus. Barely see it, so let me show you up close. First off, instead of a water tube, I'm using little champagne goblets. These are toasting champagne goblets, stemless, that usually come with a little stand. So I borrowed these from home, filled them with water with flower food. And then I've got some beautiful ranunculus. Oh my gosh, they were so exquisite. I couldn't say no to these. And it's so simple. Just give it a cut, drop it into the goblet. It's very casual. This one's so big, I'm going to cut him a little bit shorter. Tuck him in. And then that just settles right down into the soil, adding a little bit more color to the finished design. Repeat that. Picking just the orange because with the plants already I've got so much yellow. May as well stick with the brighter, more festive orange, picking up the color of the vase. And then just setting it right down in. And you can see it adds just that little bit extra to make them special. It may be wintertime, but the floral sunshine is shining bright. If you're like me and you need to chase away those winter blues with florals, we have so many things for you to choose from. You can see, you can use plants or cut flowers. If you want more inspiration, we've got fabulous springtime DVDs, several to choose from. You can find them all on the website at flowerschool.com. Or give us a call. I can talk to you about which ones might be best for you to chase away those winter blues. If you've got questions, you can always reach us through the website or pick up the telephone at 1-800-819-8089. Of course, you can always reach me through my personal email as well. It's Leanne, Leanne, at floraldesigninstitute.com. Now it's your turn. Look for some floral sunshine and brighten your day. Have fun and do something you love.